I didn't even notice when it happened. One day I was chasing goals, checking boxes, collecting praise, doing everything right. And the next, I was staring at those same lists, wondering why I was doing this in the first place. I wasn't burned out from overworking. I was burned out from performing. Performing ambition. Performing driven. Performing the version of myself that I thought I should be. And maybe you've been there too. Maybe you're in a season of life where everything looks fine on the outside, but you feel deeply, achingly lost because somewhere along the way you stopped living for desire and started living for validation. And so you can't find the thread back to your own why. That's what I want to talk about today. Because the longer you try to force motivation without alignment, the more disconnected you become. And the truth is, no productivity hack can fix a life built off of someone else's lie. Most of us don't realize how early it starts. You're praised for being the responsible one. You're rewarded for overachieving. You start to expect it as the bare minimum. And you're told you're mature beyond your years. So you keep climbing. You get good at reading the room and reading other people, adapting, optimizing, delivering what's expected. And for a while, it works. You feel productive, respected, needed. But it's a transaction. And over time, that cost will build. You stop asking, what do I want? What lights me up? What would I choose if I wasn't trying to prove anything? So eventually something breaks. Maybe it's burnout, a big life transition, or maybe you hit all the goals but still feel empty. For me at least, it wasn't a single collapse. It was a slow unraveling that used to drive me until it suddenly didn't. The things that used to motivate me didn't anymore. I couldn't push anymore, I couldn't pretend I cared, but when I stopped performing, there was nothing left. And that's when I realized my entire identity was wrapped in trying to be impressive. So without that performance, I felt empty, directionless, ashamed. If that's resonating for you, please hear me when I say that you're not broken. And that's not a failure, it's just the beginning of coming home, because there was no other way for you to get the wake-up call. You had to collapse. So how do we rebuild motivation after it's been hijacked by external validation? It starts with permission, not just to rest, not just to slow down, but to want something again, to want things that don't make sense, to want things that aren't productive, to want things that are yours. And then it takes practice. Reconnecting with desire isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like noticing the spark when you walk into a bookstore, or realizing how calm you feel when you took a break to go to the beach, or remembering that you love asking deep philosophical questions, not to achieve something or to have some underlying motive, but just because that makes you happy and alive. Desire is quiet at first, but the more you listen, the louder it gets. And slowly you begin to build a life that fits you again. Not the version of you other people admired, but the version of you that feels true. So once you truly reconnect with that why, everything changes. You don't have to rely on pressure anymore. You don't have to force yourself through resistance every day. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, including yourself. Because when motivation is tied to truth, not performance, it becomes something you can actually trust. You'll still have hard days, but you won't be afraid of them, because you'll know that you're building something through it that matters to you. That's what sustainable motivation looks like. And that's what I want for you. If this spoke to something deeply in you, if you're in the middle of that fog, or trying to find your way back to something that feels like home, you don't have to do this alone. I offer a free discovery call where we explore where you are, your story, your stuck points, and your desires to see if my program is the right thing for your growth and your journey to recovery. This work is personal, and so is the path forward. It's not cookie cutter. So if you're ready to stop performing and start rebuilding from a place of truth, then book a free discovery call in the link in the description below. I'd be honored to walk beside you. And as always, stay in this corner of the internet as long as you need.